Visicon is a BIM model management and analysis platform that we've been developing for the last 3 years and are proud that we finally got to our alpha release. It's intended to address the growing number of BIM models that are being used in the AEC industry and to provide a more cost-effective and simple-to-use alternative to platforms like Navisworks or Solibri. I'll give you a quick overview of its basic functionality. Fundamentally, you can come in and we have a plugin that with a one-click option allows you to export 100% of any information that's in a Revit model. We also support the direct importing of obviously Visicon files themselves, adapt model files, ETABS, EDB or E2K files, Cyclone, so point cloud data, either PTS or PTX, object files, IFC files, and we're going to continuously add more file formats that will support. You can open individual models. You can also merge models, and we can save models as a Visicon file. So, for example, if you take a 100 megabyte Revit model and you save it as a Visicon file, it's probably 95% smaller than the Revit file, but you don't lose any of the data. So it makes it very, very effective to be able to share that information with other project participants. We support a portable version, which means that the people that you're sending your model information to do not need to install Visicon. Essentially, a version of Visicon is wrapped around the model file, and somebody just needs to essentially double-click on that file, and the model information opens up directly in a version of Visicon. Not in the alpha or the first version of Visicon, but in a subsequent version we'll support full cloud-based collaboration capabilities where you'll be able to essentially coordinate with a centrally either your own server environment located file or a cloud-based file, and essentially we'll manage all of the synchronization of the information between those. That functionality is almost completely built out, but we just are not going to be releasing it in this first version. Under the home, obviously it's a very powerful and fast and flexible viewer, so you have all of your basic viewing capabilities. You have a lot of visibility tools. We've tried to make it very easy for the AEC industry participants to be able to filter and access and visualize information in their models. For example, this is an imported architectural model. If we look at any of these properties, I can immediately see essentially what type of components I'm selecting, and I have all of the information that I would need for these structures. And we import if the Revit model has that, and if the option was selected. In this case it wasn't. We also import all instance as well as family parameters that are then fully searchable. We make it very easy by essentially having pre-classified ability to toggle on and off major structural component types. We provide some facilities for you to be able to align the models once you bring them into Visicon. We have the ability to define multiple views, so let me turn off this and we'll go to the view panel to the right. And so here you see there's a default view. You can have a watermark that essentially is permanent on any of the other views. In this example, I have one issue view defined, so that's an issue number 3, and this has a particular view associated with it which says that this object here has to be moved by 5 feet. We also have a kitchen view, so here this essentially has a note that says change this countertop. The views which can either be locked just from a camera position or prevent any user from making any changes to a view, can also have any number of 2D overlays on top. So for example, this is an example of a text kind of a call out, so I can come in and everything is completely editable. So for example, if I open up every object, even the markups have their own parameters that you can customize. So these are the views. We have extensive 3D markups. And so here, if I want to come in and let's look at, let's say, some clearance, and it's not allowing me to, let's say, let me get out of this view because I'm locked. So I'm going to go to my default view. For example, come into the inner courtyard, and let's say I want to determine what the clearance is. I go into my 3D markup, clearance, and I can immediately see it's 56.94 feet. So we have 3D markups in addition to the 2D overlays or red lines on top of any view. We have extensive issue tracking and management that we're going to be building out. So if I go to our issue log, so here we have various issues. I can assign these issues to different people, track them. For example, if I go here, I also can track all of the comments that are made, and this becomes even more interesting once we turn on the collaboration capabilities, where essentially changes that you're making to your tracking of your issues or resolution of your issues are automatically being synchronized. Each of the issues can have any number of views associated with them, plus any number of components. So that's quite a flexible way to kind of work with issues. Operations are automated, let's say, analytics that we run through. Simple ones are, for example, clash detection, and that's what we've turned on for this first alpha release. We're going to have basic, duplicate checking, 3D Boolean version management of models, and so that way you'll know exactly what's changed. And then our plan is to kind of build out more and more industry or context-specific rule sets that the industry is telling us they're needing to run through their BIM models, and then you'll be able to upload those into a Visicon model and essentially run those types of checks. So those are all falling under operations. Think of them as kind of little AI engines, and they will essentially, once you run through an operation, if an issue is detected, it automatically creates these issues that you can then track and try to resolve. One of the big things that we've done is introduced a whole structural analytics component. So this is providing structural engineers with very quick and simple feedback on the structural load paths in their model, as well as indicative loads and stresses in their model. So you bring in any ETABS, ADAPT, Revit model that has structural components, and we can quickly generate the tributaries, calculate a load path, colorize the loads either by showing absolute loads or stresses, and then we're going to be running some very simple structural checks for columns, punching shear, identify longest spans, check for beams, etc. as well. There's an extensive series of different colorization. So this is looking at the material that was defined in Revit. I can also switch to, for example, unique material. So this tells me that these two walls that I've just selected here have exactly the same material, and these two red walls do, whereas these panels in the middle are assigned a different material. Unique geometry is another interesting way, and let's go back to our default view, and if I go to geometry, so here we're colorizing all the unique geometry, so I can immediately see, if I go, I can see, for example, these gray panels are geometrically 100% the same. Those at the bottom are different. So either that's intentional or not, but it's a great tool to allow you to do some quick quality control on your model. As I mentioned, not in the alpha release, but in the probably version 2, we're going to turn on our full collaboration capabilities, and we're going to support both what we're calling a client or offline collaboration mode, as well as a cloud-based central sharing capability. In the alpha release, we haven't turned on our reports yet, but there'll be an extensive set of both Excel-based, so tabular, as well as graphic-based reports. This gives you kind of a quick overview of the Visicon product platform. Please feel free to contact us and subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay in touch with our latest developments. Thank you.